Hi everyone, it's Monique Jeremiah and welcome back to our session 6. Today we are going to be covering the area of monitoring and reviewing the HR strategic plan. Now in this session we've been talking about previously how we implement a HR strategic plan into an organisation. So how do we bring our people together, recruit them in and ensure that our organisation has the right staff at the right time for the right job. So when we are doing an implementation of a major staffing part of an organisation, we need to always check to see that we have the correct number of staff on the business and working within the business. We need to check and see that we are on budget to afford the people coming to our organisation. So that's the cost of both our contractors and our existing employees. And we also need to make sure that we are reviewing the way that we bring people into the organisation, because it's important to always do these checks to ensure that what we are trying to achieve in it as an organisation is really happening, that we're not tangenting off, that we're not going above budget, that we're not hiring the wrong people for an organisation, but we are actually always checking cross balances, checking cost benefit, this sort of thing. So how do we do this? Well, obviously it's important for us to look at things from a risk management perspective when we're monitoring and we're reviewing our strategic plan. So with this in mind, we've got to think about, is there any sort of dangers when we are dealing with people? What is the risk of certain contractors coming in, or is there a conflict of interest? Is there a problem with our staff that we have recruited for the business or any contractors? Just being aware as a business to consider these elements strictly from an objective perspective, so that we can lessen the damage that could occur, say if we were unlucky and we hired the wrong people. So when we look at this situation, we look at people from a few different perspectives. So we look at the skills of our staff who are in the business, we look at their knowledge, we look at their abilities, we look at their morale, we look at their work performance, and we also look at their general attitude. It's really important to consider these kind of elements when we're actually hiring staff for a business or project, because yes, people can have the hard skills, they can do the job, the technical skills, they can use the software, they can do anything, but if they have a bad morale or a bad kind of vibe in the organisation, this can be a real problem for a business. So it's important to, as I've said this word before, emotional intelligence. Use your emotional intelligence as a leader and think about, how do we boost morale of people in the organisation? How do we ensure that there's no bad eggs or no bad vibes? We look at the attitude as well. I think is really important, because people need to, be in a business or be in a project with the right intentions. It's really important, because we want people to be going the right way, the same way, going for the same objectives. So considering this kind of softer elements in our recruitment process is important. How do we find these people for the projects initially, or the business? What is our recruitment strategy? What's motivating someone to come to a business? These kind of little things can sometimes be the difference between having an awesome employee or awesome contractor as opposed to someone who's a bit not really interested. They're just in it for the cash. We don't, and as a HR manager, my take on this is that get people who are not only skilled but also want to be there. They genuinely want to be there in the project. They want to be in the business, because this will save you a lot of stress in the long term. So how do we consider these elements? We look at what is their abilities as well. We look at these things are all objective assessments. We think about, do they know what they're doing? Can they do the job? Can they fulfill any requirements? Can they be flexible? What's their abilities? And what is their work performance? So what are they generating as output for the business at the beginning or middle part of a project? So we look at these elements from a objective perspective, purely from a work of what are they doing, but the morale and the attitude we look at from an emotional perspective, because you have to look at things really in an honest manner if we're going to get staff who are going to stay and who are going to do what we wanted them to do, fulfill their expectations in the delivery of the project. Other things as well to consider is, are they working to deadlines? Are they working with efficiency? Can they work within a team, sort of thing? Do they respond well to feedback? Can they work with leaders? Can our staff in a project really bring the skill set that we need and the personality that we need that fits the job and the project? This is really, really important. So in the strategic plan, it might be useful, for example, to set up a few scattered dates in a plan. So let's take, for example, let's see. So it's our project timelines, so start and finish. Let's say we are contracting people for 12 months. So let's say this is the halfway point. This is the 1 quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. So it might be useful at these key points to do a quick check on your staff, just to check in, see how they're feeling. Are they really loving the project? Is there any elements that they think could be improved? What's the expectation? Are they on schedule in relation to whatever project they're doing? Are they real happy? I think this is important actually as a HR manager when you're looking at strategic implementation plan, to consider if your staff are happy, because if they're happy, then they're going to stay. Also, it's important, to report on, what are they completed within their project duration. Are they on schedule? Are they falling behind? Is there any problems that's occurred while they've been there? This kind of questions to ask them is really important, and it's, as a manager, you need to realize that you need your staff to feel comfortable enough to be able to discuss these things with you. So you need to make sure that you build trust with your staff, whether they're a contractor or whether they're an employee, that building the trust, building the open communication, building non-judgment is really important, because that's when your staff will come to you if they have an issue, or they'll feel comfortable to discuss anything that may be, being a barrier to their performance. Because it's not only could be knowledge, they might be lacking knowledge in something, so maybe they need help. So if you make them feel like they can trust you, they will come to you for help. And that's really important. And just being able to communicate that to them, that they can come to you, is one important element of monitoring and reviewing your plan, to make sure that your HR plan is correct, that you have good people on your team, you have people that can be trained, can be, work together to ensure that the project has been delivered as you wished. It's also important for people to know their responsibilities again. So at any of these sort of key points in a 12-month duration, you might want to ask them, are they okay in the job? Are they fulfilling their responsibility? Do they need anything? A simple question, do you need anything? Can really get you to check if people need help. Also getting them to, report on their progress in the project. So have they achieved what they were hoping to achieve in the first quarter, the second quarter, and then towards the end? Are they going to finish the project on time? It's a consideration that you need to make as a manager. It puts, people into the position of, they know that they can achieve the project as the way they had hoped for. So it's important when you're reviewing a plan to consider these kind of things. For example, have actions been completed according to plan? So are people doing what they said they could do in the project within the time frame that they said they could probably do it? If not, what is stopping it from happening? Is it a resources problem? So do they not have enough available to them to do what they needed? Do they need more staff and more support around them to deliver the project? How will they incomplete actions affect the rest of the plan? So if they're running behind, is this going to be a real problem to the business or the project? Has the budget been adhered to? So if you've allocated them some cash to spend on doing their job somewhere along the line, if they need to resource, have you given them enough to be able to do this? Or are they running on a shoestring budget that's affecting their ability to complete the task the way you had hoped? Also, if not, why is this? What's been done? Are you rectifying the problem? Are you supporting your staff? Are you giving them the opportunity to ask for help in anything? Because people who feel helpless in businesses often exit because they don't want to feel stressed. So are you giving them the opportunity to be supported? Is there any changes to plans that need to take place? Do you need to recruit maybe an additional manager to help in the implementation of a project, something like this? Are there new actions involved? Is there any issues in the delivery of the overall strategic plan? So looking at your plan completely from a person perspective, look at, can people and any difficulties that they experience on a project be identified early in the piece, or does it take a problem to occur before you find the issue with the person or with the project team? How can you ensure that you've allocated enough hours to the people to do their job that they need? Because if you, for example, if you hire some contractors and you don't give them enough hours to do the work, do you expect as a manager for them to complete the task at their full ability? Do you expect them to be able to do a good job if they're under so much pressure? So as a planner for the HR strategy, are you being fair in the time that you have allocated and the resource to pay the person to do the job? Are you giving people the opportunity to also provide feedback to the project team or to you as a manager? These kind of elements is really, really important when you are monitoring and reviewing your HR plan. So as I said before, it's important to consider timelines, milestones in a project, along with the knowledge, the skills, the abilities, the expectations, the work performance, the morale, the attitude, and the question, are you giving enough support to your staff to ensure that they can work together as a team so that you have an effective HR strategy and an awesome project team? So consider that, future managers. So thank you again, and I wish you well in your assessment, and I'll see you in our next video for session 7. Take care. Thank you.